So I'm sure you guys have heard by now that Blackwing Lair has just dropped into Classic WoW with Phase 3 officially out. The race to see who could beat Nefarian, the final boss of Blackwing Lair, the fastest, is over. And it was over in about 30 minutes. However, there was quite a lot of drama and controversy as to who actually got the world first. The official results posted by Blizzard are Progress world first tied with Calamity down to the same second, with Progress officially getting world first, and the Apes Guild getting third place, which was only 8 seconds after the world first was achieved. So needless to say, this was an extremely close race, and it was honestly quite thrilling to watch this live. However, the key issue with this race lied in the fact that different guilds arrived into Blackwing Lair at different times. So the Blackwing Lair raid is perhaps the hardest raid instance to get into out of any classic raid, and this is due to the geography of the instance. So the orb to get into Blackwing Lair lies in the end of a very long and narrow corridor, which is a lot of time for someone of the opposing faction to kill you while you're on your way. And that's already in Blackrock Mountain, the most dangerous zone in Classic WoW right now. So needless to say, it's very difficult to get into this instance. There are so many opportunities and narrow choke points for someone to grief you. And for a guild racing to get world first, this could mean the difference between winning and losing a race depending on how quickly you can get into Blackwing Lair. Now, in the case of Apes, they started 7 minutes late due to these issues. Eventually they managed to get into Blackwing Lair through the use of the Upper Blackrock Spire portal, which is an alternative and slower way to get into the raid. So Apes started with a huge disadvantage compared to the other guilds that were in contention to get world first. Now that being said, watching the top guilds go into Blackwing Lair was really impressive. The level of efficiency and coordination is something you never saw back in the day of old school Classic WoW. The WoW community has just gotten so much better than what it was like back in the day. Watching Apes go into Blackwing Lair and just tear through the content was absolutely incredible. They made full use of consumables like the Goblin Sapper charges to kill trash mobs as quickly as possible, which is an expensive but effective way of doing a lot of AoE damage quickly. And the majority of guilds that were in this race had many warriors with rank 14 weapons, so these guys were committed enough to grind up to rank 14 specifically to increase their DPS in this race. And the amount of DPS was just incredible. Apes managed to kill Velistraz in 20 seconds, which is just ludicrous. 20 seconds. Now most 5-man dungeon bosses take longer than that. And Velistraz is considered to be one of the hardest bosses in Blackwing Lair. Because of how quickly they killed it, they pretty much didn't see this boss's mechanics. It was just killed that quickly. However, the most important thing was who killed Nefarian the first. So the guilds were very close together in terms of beating Nefarian. Both Calamity and Progress killed Nefarian on the same second, which is really incredible. It's hard to say which guild is better than the other, but according to Blizzard, Progress got it the first. And then 8 seconds later, Apes managed to kill Nefarian. That is a huge accomplishment to get world third. And it's pretty much the consensus that Apes had the fastest clear time out of every other guild, so that's an accomplishment in itself. Needless to say, if Apes managed to get into Blackwing Lair as quickly as Progress did, it would have been a landslide victory for Apes, who also got the world first Ragnaros kill. It's kind of unfortunate for Apes to miss out on the world first in this fashion, and Matos, the GM, was pretty angry about Progress winning. Matos felt pretty upset about how the whole ordeal took place and started insulting Progress.
Was that it? Is that it? Is that it? 5 minutes late? Fuck you, man. We started 7 minutes later. Fuck you, Profess. Fucking Tetsu, motherfucker. Sunday loser. Nah, 5 seconds after Progress, but then we started 7 minutes later. Fuck you, Progress. Fuck you, complete guilds, man.
Now, some people may not like this, but it's normal for competitive people to get emotionally invested into what they are doing. Some people may think that this is going a little bit too far, but it is what it is. I feel like Apes is objectively the best guild in Classic right now, despite this upset. They clearly had a target on their back for being the world first Ragnaros kill, so they had some significant issues getting into the raid. But this reminds me that Classic WoW was not really built for these kinds of competitions. It's not like retail WoW where there's several days before anyone manages to get a world first raid. In this case, the race to world first was over in about 40 minutes, which is insanely quick. Not to mention, there is the whole world PvP meta of killing guilds to take their world buffs and delay them from getting inside. It's not as structured and streamlined as a world first BFA kill would be. There are a lot of factors on classic WoW that cannot be controlled. You can do things to get into a raid portal as quickly as possible, but on a PvP server you are still at the mercy of other people and the server itself. And with the race to world first on classic WoW being measured in the seconds literally, as opposed to days in retail WoW, any minor setback can cause you to lose out. Not to mention the world buffs meta, where if you are a DPS class with world buffs, you are doing vastly more DPS than you would without. Getting killed by a member of the opposing faction going to a raid is an extremely effective way of griefing. Although Blackwing Lair was so easy to clear for these top guilds, the majority of people playing classic WoW will have a really fun time and challenge with this content. Some of the encounters are significantly harder than Molten Core. I know a number of my friends who couldn't get past Chromagus, so chances are if you're watching this, you too will have an interesting time in Blackwing Lair. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a like down below as it helps me out a lot. This is vaulty, signing out.